Hey everybody, it's Brad.
And I'm Christa.
With the Big Family Homestead. And I hope you are ready and prepared and mentally and physically and emotionally ready to get scarred. No. No, yes. I hope you are ready for another exciting
and soon to be classic
Big Family Homestead. We're so professional with this
not really.
Banter back and forth. We banter.
Our teleprompter went down, so.
Yeah, that imaginary teleprompter right there.
No, not at all.
Good evening, everybody. I hope you are ready to have some fun. We have a list of things that we've got to get to.
We have stuff and things to talk about.
Both.
Yes.
We've got both kinds of music, country and Western. Why don't you say hi to a few folks, Mama?
All right, Dave C. Video, Karen Tilley, Honey Hollow Homestead, Amy Hendrickson.
Amy Hendrickson.
Hendrickson is excited to be here.
She said so.
Pamela Jones, RAG Outdoors, A Homestead, Franklin, North Carolina, Little Shepherd Farm. Yes, this is live. They asked earlier if it was live. Yes.
It is
live. We are live. Yes.
Yeah.
Joke, Don Powell, Kenneth Lachlan, Mike DeFazio, Adaptive Maritimer, Life is Awesome Every Day from Australia. Good day. That is Australian, isn't it?
But I think they probably don't like it when Americans do that.
I'm sorry. Hello.
I don't know that. I don't know that. I'm just guessing. I would be like, if we were in Great Britain, if people called us Yanks. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
We are.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like it.
Yeah, well.
Because it would be meant derogatory.
Maybe.
But we're not meaning it derogatory.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. Anyway. So, Amy Elliott, Central Coast Chica, is here. I think she's from Cali.
Yeah.
Susan, Sharon, Julie from Georgia, Mary Ange, Johnstone, Reverend Richard Lee is here, and everybody, all of you are watching.
And many, many, many more.
Thank you for joining this circus.
Welcome. Okay. While we're waiting for everybody to get here before we get to our main topic actually is going to be on, we're going to expand on the video that we released earlier today. I was surprised to see how much of a chord it struck. I thought for sure that, when you have a YouTube channel, you can kind of see the numbers and they give you the metadata on who's watching and are they male, female, where they're from, what countries they're from, and you can see all this data. And so you can kind of guess, all right, this video will probably do great, or this video will just take a long time, or that one's going to bomb, but we're going to put it out anyway because we want to. Mm-hmm. Well, I thought for sure that it would be a small minority of people that would like it, but I felt like I just needed to say it anyway. I felt like I needed to get it out there, more or less just for me.
Right.
And the resulting comments have been deep and wide and surprising. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about this divide that's in America and what can we do about it. Because I don't like talking about a problem if there is no solution.
Right.
I don't like that at all. Right. So that's going to be our main topic. But while we're waiting for everybody to get here, why don't you start us out on some of the stuff we did this week, Mama?
Stuff we did this week.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, Brad was on the roof.
And that scared the fire out of me. He
doesn't like that. Kudos to you, hon, because...
The only reason why I got my big old bahookie up on the roof was because it didn't feel like I was high because the snow is all the way past the roof line.
Right.
So you climb up to the roof and then step down.
Right.
So I'm just like,
crazy.
Oh, this ain't so bad. And, you just feel like, okay, light, fluffy snow. If I fall, I won't break anything much.
Yeah, so he was scraping some snow off the roof. We had 2 weeks ago, we had a huge winter storm come through, and it was 18 inches that we got dumped
in a very short time. A day.
And then the wind blew for the whole next day, which blew in more snow. It was a nightmare. So he was wanting to get it off the roof before the expected winter storm hit yesterday afternoon through this morning, which we got 2 inches.
It wasn't so bad.
It wasn't bad at all.
It wasn't bad.
A couple inches, and it was really not a big deal. The worst part of it is the wind. It's like 17 to 20 mile an hour winds. So.
Well, and it's kind of funny because when you don't know what the weather's going to bring, you really have to be on your A game and be ready, or else you're not going to get to go to church, or you're not going to get to go to wherever it is that you have that are like time-sensitive scheduled things. And it was kind of funny because we had some friends over from church yesterday, and I was telling them, I'm like, man, I really want to make sure I get to church, but this stupid ATV hasn't been working, and it wasn't. And the starter was going, but it wasn't engaging the flywheel, and it just wasn't going. It kept go bzzz. And I would try to warm up the garage because I thought maybe there was like a frozen chunk of something in there.
Right.
And because sometimes that worked, but I was literally in the process of telling him, yeah, this doggone thing, it just goes bzzz, and it went bzzz. And then I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on with it. And then it went and it started right up, like right as I was telling him it doesn't work. So I was like, I swear, I just did not do this yesterday.
Yeah, so we got up really early this morning.
It was like 5:30.
I got up at 5. You got up at 5:30. But with the daylight savings time,
oh man,
it was actually 4 o'clock.
Oh,
seemed like, for us, but
oh my gracious, North Star Prep Setter. I got 12 inches overnight. Missed church. Spent 6 hours digging.
No.
Oh, the thing about our driveway, which is a blessing, but it's also a pain, is it's really, really big. We would probably have to have all of our crew taking all day to shovel just enough to get out of the driveway.
Exactly.
So we really have to be careful to keep in front of it.
Exactly. So yes. It switched over to daylight savings time this morning, and if you missed it, you might want to set your clocks ahead 1 hour.
Yeah, you don't want to be late for work.
No.
Yeah. Oopsie daisy.
That'd be a shock.
Oopsie daisy. What else we got going on, baby?
Well, the chicken that was injured.
Yeah, we had a chicken down. Medics came on the scene.
Week and a half ago.
Had to give her the Heimlich.
Oh, for crying out loud.
And then the shot of adrenaline. That's not true.
Not at all.
But that would be fun to see a chicken on adrenaline.
Oh my gosh. They're already hyper enough. So we had a chicken. We think she cut her comb or something on something in the nesting box. We have no idea what or where it was. And the other chickens kept pecking at her because she kept bleeding, and she's flinging blood everywhere. It was a nightmare. And we got her cleaned up. We separated her till she could heal right. Well, then, we needed to put her back. Well, you can't just put a chicken back in there because she's kind of new to the flock, new-ish. You know what I mean? You can't just introduce a chicken all of a sudden. So what we did was we went out. When it was dark, right at the end of our chores, and we turned off all the lights.
Even their lights that you keep on for laying.
Right, we turned off their light.
Beak to mouth resuscitation.
That's great, Phoebe.
They make a special little orifice thing that just makes a nice seal on there. Stop. She was surprisingly compliant. Anyway.
So instead of walking in there with this chicken and then setting her down and making it such a big ordeal, Hope and we just opened up the gate and let her walk back in where all the other chickens were, and nobody paid attention to her. She just went right back up. She went to the nesting box or to the roost and went to sleep. So
all is well in the chicken world.
Exactly, all is well.
So okay, first poll of the night. Should we go ahead and make that rooster into dinner?
Oh my goodness.
You guys chime in. Should the rooster be dinner? I know what I think. But somebody made a comment about the ATV, and I wanted to give them props and thank you. Little Shepherd Farm says it's a bad Bendix spring on the ATV. And so I will check into that and thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's good to know.
Also,
what else we got?
Okay. Oh, man. Well, we can get to that.
Okay.
But, man, I was playing guitar in church today.
And it sounded great.
Until it didn't sound great.
Okay, so we were at first service, and Claire and I were helping with the toddlers in the second service.
That wasn't the bad one.
Oh.
No.
No, during the second service.
Second service, yeah.
Yeah, Claire and I were in the second service in the toddler room, so we did not hear what happened.
Well, I'm not like a soloist guy. Never have been. I told the worship leader in charge that I'm not that guy. And a funny side note. The worship leader at this church is great. Super talented guy. He's probably, about 15 years younger than us? Gotta be.
Yeah, I think he's early 30s, late 20s, early 30s.
And when we came to the church and I met him, he was like, no way. You're in that band that I used to watch when I was a kid. He came to our concerts when he was younger, and now I'm playing for him. So isn't that great?
Funny. That's so funny.
But it's really cool.
Very talented.
Super talented guy.
Super talented. So.
And so it's a blessing to be able to come and play guitar. But he knows I'm not like a guy. Well, it turns out that there was a solo that needed to be played. And I thought, man, I'm doing good. And I'm like, and then I got a little too hot for my shoes, and it went plang, and I totally messed it up, like bad. And I'll tell you what, I'm laughing now, but all day long it's bothered me because I don't want to be a distraction, and I should have just kept it really simple, and I have learned from my mistake.
Wow. Yeah, you've never been one for look at me.
Yeah.
It's always look at him.
Yeah.
So.
Most people, I'm going at 50-50.
Yes.
Eat it.
Yeah.
Eat that chicken.
Well, here's the thing.
What if you couldn't get a chicken?
What if you couldn't get a chicken and you wanted to raise more chicks? Then we would have to go and get another rooster.
It's a preparedness thing for us.
Exactly.
We tolerate his baloney because
right.
If all of a sudden you couldn't get one, you'd really, really be hard pressed to get one.
Right. There is one thing that I want to that needs to be done, though, with that rooster is his spurs need to be pulled off.
Yeah, we're gonna. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest.
Why?
I just don't. If I want to research to make sure it's not going to cause him pain.
No, it won't.
Because I'd rather. I'll tell you what. Now this may sound weird to you.
Feel, so I wouldn't know, but
well, I want to do some more research.
Okay.
So if anybody out there knows that if you remove a rooster's spurs, does it cause them pain? Because I'd rather. This is going to sound messed up. I'd rather eat him after he's made more little roosters
than cause him pain.
Because, and
That's
here's
so
why.
Backwards.
No, and here's why. Because if we get another like 2 or 3 boys, then we're gonna find one that's nice, one that's not mean.
True.
And then he gets to go and be in rooster heaven.
No, in our bellies.
In my belly.
Boy. Kimmy is here.
What's up,
How
Kimmy?
are you, Kimmy?
Talking about eating our chickens.
She's got a new video out, and I want to watch it. It looks really funny.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, I haven't seen it yet.
Well, you're gonna have to wait till we're done.
Yeah, okay. You can't watch it right now?
No, not yet. We've been doing live cooking videos.
Yes.
And they've been a lot of fun. We've been doing them on Thursday afternoons at 2:00 Central. And this week you are making.
Sorry, I read a comment and got distracted. We're making an old-fashioned style beef stew.
And if you saw in the beginning of the stream, the recipe is in there. The recipe is also in the video description down below. So if you want to cook along with us, that's kind of the whole idea, that you can have the ingredients ready to go, and that way you can, well, like I said, cook along with us.
Exactly.
Oh, but also if you're a vegetarian, or you can just omit the meat.
Sure.
You know, like how
it'll just be stew.
Well, you know how like they say in Harry Potter, he who should not be named.
Mm-hmm.
You can't utter the word. Not here. Negative.
No, we like to eat meat here. We actually raise our own beef, and it is quite delicious. Tasty
His
beef.
lip smacking. Anyway.
So, okay, for this beef stew, I will use a blade roast. And that has been the best cut of meat that we've gotten off of our steer.
For what?
For
the steaks
beef
have
stroganoff.
Been killer.
No, I meant for beef stroganoff, for the beef stew. It just turns out so tender. So.
Ah.
Oh, okay. So Scott, the rooster's being mean.
Yes,
to us, not to the hens. So when he comes after us, and you know it's funny, Caleb is in charge of the feeding and watering of the chickens.
Little.
He's 10 years old, so he's pocket size.
Yes.
He doesn't mess with Caleb. He messes with Brad and I if we have to go in there. Because we are intimidating, I think.
No. Let's call a spade a spade. Without getting the folks in PETA all riled up and have their hackles and whatever go nuts. Let's just say that one time the rooster came after me from behind while I was feeding the roosters. It was a bad idea for that rooster.
Yeah.
He doesn't come after me anymore.
No, he doesn't come after me anymore either. But still, it's, you know.
It's Caleb.
Caleb, we want to make sure that he is okay and he's not, you know.
He's still a little timid.
Still, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that's a chicken. Don't let that chicken do to you.
Well, he's gotten a lot better as he's gotten older. You know, when he was 6 and 7 years old, he was quite afraid of them. So,
well,
yes, Gravy 111. We aren't going to cut the spurs. There is a way that you just take pliers and you twist the spurs off, and it pulls off the sharp end.
I just want to make sure that's
Fine.
not because, you know, here's the thing. What people don't understand is the way that we process our chickens. It's technically the most kosher way you can do it, and I'm not going to be graphic and say,
Right.
But if you use a very, 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 very sharp instrument,
A sharp one?
they don't even realize that anything's wrong
Right.
until all of a sudden their heart stops.
Right.
So we're not going to go there tonight. However, what else do we got going? Oh, you've been oh, someone was asking, do we still like the mattress, the Nectar mattress?
Absolutely love it.
It's been a game changer.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
She wants to be in the bed more often. That's yeah, it's good. High fives. I'm alone in this one, aren't I?
Yeah, you are. Totally. Totally alone in that one.
Okay.
No, the bed is fantastic. You know, I used to have, I sleep on my side and I sleep with my hands up near my head. Well, my fingers would always go numb. That's not a problem anymore.
Well, yeah.
So,
and we're not exactly the lightest little waifs.
We're not little.
We're not the lightest
Right.
little waifs.
And, you know, a lot of people would think, well, you sink down in there. No, you don't sink in there. It's firm where it needs to be and squishy where it needs to be. It's perfect. I absolutely love it.
Okay.
So.
Phoebe, it is a family show.
I
Oh,
see.
boy.
That's why he's all alone in this one.
I'm alone in this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so other stuff. Oh, oh my gosh. We came home from church today, and I'm not going to tell you because I'm putting the video out tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
It's not even a 20-second video, I
This is
think. But our
crazy.
dog had gotten into something that you are not going to believe.
No. Nana?
Nana.
It's nuts.
I can, and it wasn't a mess.
No.
It wasn't a mess.
No.
But you are not going to believe where this. How big would you say Nana is?
She's
a Saint
probably
Bernard.
140 pounds.
I'd say 150.
Okay, well, you
I did just
you
nothing.
picked her up, so, yeah. Anyway.
I cannot believe, but I'll say this. We don't know how long the dog was there. I'm hoping it was not long because
You'll see tomorrow.
I can't
Come
believe
back
it.
and watch this tomorrow. Not this video that we're doing right now, but another video he's going to put up
it'll
tomorrow
go up
morning.
tomorrow. And there's not going to be any. There's nothing. It's going to be a single video clip.
Yeah,
I don't.
that's
I don't,
what,
I don't,
a minute?
I don't
Maybe
know.
a minute long?
I
No?
think I don't even think it's that long.
Oh,
But where you see this dog got a Saint Bernard, I cannot believe it.
that's crazy.
Anyway,
It's crazy.
okay, so that's tomorrow, and I think last thing of the updates is you've been starting or you're getting ready to start plants.
Yes. Okay. I know for a lot of you, you're putting your plants in the ground and you've got, you know, massive tomato plants. Well, here we still have massive amounts of snow. So for what we do for up here, we can't put anything into the ground until June 1st. Mm-hmm. Okay. May 18th is our last average frost date for this zone. We're in zone 3B. And so we only have about 128 days of growing season.
Yeah.
So this week, I got to get our tomatoes started. I got to get our peppers
Which
started.
is so foreign. I mean, today there have been 20-mile-an-hour winds, and it's been sub-freezing all day, snow everywhere, no hint of it going away.
Right. We are going to plant quite a large garden. We're actually still in the process of deciding whether we want to make raised beds.
Oh, I've decided on that.
Oh, have you? Okay. Well, without talking to me.
Oh, 100%. And here's how we're going to do this.
Okay.
This is happening right now. You're
Right
getting
now.
ready to watch a domestic event. This is going down.
Oh, my.
If I had gloves, I'd take them off.
Okay.
I'd throw the gauntlet. I'd chuck it at you.
All right.
No,
so
I
what's
wouldn't.
going on?
I wouldn't hit you, but I'd make sure that it hits on the ground somewhere near you.
You are darn right. You wouldn't.
Oh,
We're gonna have words.
we're gonna have words.
We might have to end this live stream early.
Yeah, if the screen goes black, you know what happened to
know
Brad.
what happened. All right, babe. So what's going on?
If you want to have traditional garden in the ground, great. But I still want to get some raised beds.
That's fine. I am totally for raised beds.
I'm so glad she agrees with me.
Because I'll be honest with you, like, we are not small people. We are not.
We're not pocket size for
We're
travel.
not pocket size. We're not limber. We have to, kneeling on the ground for hours upon hours and weeding. You know what? I just physically can't do it anymore.
Yes.
So, yes, I am all for raised beds. Winning.
And I will add that the best garden we have ever had. How many were there?
We had 10.
10.
10 of them.
8 foot by 4 foot raised beds. 10 of them. And then we also had traditional in the ground garden. And doggone it, if we didn't have more food that we were giving food to our animals and our pigs and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
And canning and doing everything. And there was still way more than we could give away.
Yeah. So one thing that we use
this is a great resource.
Start our seeds and things like that. Not to start our seeds, but to know when to start our seeds. You're going to go online and you're going to search zones, USDA zones, average frost dates.
Get this.
You need to get one of these Clyde's
Google it.
slide charts.
Watch
These are
this.
Awesome.
Boo, 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 boo.
So the way these work is it has spring on one side and fall on the other side. And you're going to line up this big red line here with the date of your average frost date. It's kind of hard to do backwards. So ours is May 18th. So I'll just put it on 17. Then it will tell me what I can plant when I have to seed it inside, when I can put it outside, if I do direct sow outside. This is a fantastic tool. You need to stop it.
Just trying to help.
That's not helping.
I'm supporting
it's distracting.
you. I'm supporting you.
So this is a fantastic tool. Something else that we do, well, I do, because I'm OCD. No, I'm not OCD. I'm ADD.
I'm COD.
I'd
rather have a sandwich, a fish sandwich.
I'm trying to be very organized. And when you are of a preparedness mind, you need to make sure that you are planting things that you will eat, and you are planting things that that will go together. You know, you need a companion planting chart. This is awesome. I printed this off the internet. Also, I keep track of our gardens. I use just some graph paper. I draw out our garden beds to 1 square per foot kind of thing, and then I write in there what we put in there. And if it didn't work, then I nix it and we do something different the next year. That way I remember, because I'm not going to remember what happened a year ago. I barely remember what happened yesterday.
What happened this morning.
No, I remember what happened this morning.
I'm bad.
5 o'clock in the morning. Ugh.
So this tells you when you're going to put your, your snozzberries in. And
that's funny.
Who's ever heard of a snozzberry?
That's funny.
Anyway.
So this particular notebook, I keep track of all of our gardens, our past gardens, I've just got different tabs. And then I also keep track of all our animal stuff. You know, if they have to go to the vet, I keep those receipts in here. I keep track of when animals are born, if they leave the farm, if they die, what happened, you know, if an animal has a baby, who had what, and, you know, it just helps me keep track. So, anyway.
Excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
That's my little organization.
Here we go. That's right. It has come to that portion of the evening when it is time for channel shoutouts, ladies and gentlemen. This is the portion of the evening where you're not only allowed to shout out any channel you want, including your own. This could be shameless plug time, and we are going to tolerate it. We're going to tolerate it. So, as you start typing your channel shoutouts for who you'd like for all this massive throng of people to see, type, and then Christa's going to do her best to read as many of them as she can, and then I and she and I and she and I, are going to share our channel shoutouts. So while you're waiting on hearing, I'm sure you're waiting with bated breath, we have an announcement from a channel that's here tonight. There's a channel that's celebrating a landmark in their channel history. They have hit 10,000 subscribers, and that is Bumblebee Junction. Bumblebee Junction. I always want to say like that Ace Ventura thing. A Bumblebee Tuna.
Bumblebee Tuna.
And so they are having a giveaway. And so if you want to get in on the giveaway, they are giving away some cast iron.
Woohoo!
So Bumblebee Junction.
All right. So Living Traditions, Dixie Living Homestead, Bear Independence, Hardiness Approach, Idaho Hillbilly, 50 Acres and a Cabin, Mapleberry Farm, Needy Homesteader, Big Family Homestead, Garden City Homestead, Thousands of Roots, Self-Reliant Roadshow, Wildflower Valley Farm, North Star Prepsteader, Hardiness Approach, Hewitt Homestead, RIG Outdoors, Dave's Thinking of Others, Marine Serving Jesus Christ.
Amen.
That's awesome. Faithful Fields Homestead, Living on a Dime, Adaptive Maritimer, Jesse James Homestead. Sorry.
Go, baby,
it's going
go.
really fast. Tess Cooks for You.
Tess.
Guildbrook Farms, The Pirate, and The Lumberjack. Awesome.
That sounds like a fun channel.
That's awesome. Memos Homestead Goods, Bobblehead Homestead. Sorry, it's going really fast.
You want me to take over for a little bit?
Good.
You got it?
All Zero, Sensible Prepper. I'm just having to skip
Channel
some.
Zero.
Sensible Mom, Katie on the Flip Side, Holler Homestead, Fundamental Faith, Nikki Browning, My Self-Reliance, Alaska Prepper.
You ready to take a breath? Okay. Keep typing, and you will be seen by all of the folks here.
Yeah.
But we're going to take a second. We're going to share with you our channel shout-out. And today's theme, like I said, is we're going to talk a little bit about the divide that's happening in America, what to do about it, preparedness. Is there a place for being a prepper in the life of a believer? We're going to talk about these things. And one of my favorite preparedness channels is actually Pastor Joe Fox, and that is Viking Preparedness. And the crowd goes wild. Pastor Joe Fox, I've talked with him on several occasions and interviewed him multiple times. And I believe that they're messianic. I know that they're followers of Jesus, but they would call him Yeshua. He's former special forces and former blah, 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 blah. All of the, cacophony of things you can do in government that are either intelligence or violence oriented. He's done them. However, on the flip side, he's come out and now he's studied and he's become a pastor. And so he lends an incredibly insightful analysis when things happen. I remember not too terribly long ago, maybe a year and a half ago, everybody was freaked out about the Russians. Are the Russians going to come after us? Is there going to be a war? And the way that he brought it down is like, all right, calm down. It's not going to happen, and here's why. And he was spot on. In retrospect, if you go back and look, spot on.
Nice.
And so if you are interested in a level-headed person, because there's a lot of prepper stuff out there that's just unhinged. I mean, unhinged. And I don't go in for that, never have. And so if you're interested in something that's a little more level-headed, even though he's very, very serious about what he's talking about, they're not going to run out and tell you to go nuts and do this and that. So, Pastor Joe Fox, Viking Preparedness. Adaptive Maritimer, Brad, I would like to use Let It Ride in my next video.
He found your music on.
You, sir, may. I'm giving you copyright authority, and I'm even saying make money with it, dude. Dude, make some money with it. Yes, Bumblebee Junction, he calls it like he sees it. All right, so we are moving on to our actual real-life topic of the evening.
We have one of those.
We do.
That's awesome.
Now, earlier today, last night, actually for the last month, I have had a bee in my bonnet that I've just been thinking about studying, doing research on, checking things out, because I don't like to shoot my mouth off unless I'm fairly certain that I can back it up, with facts. And the growing divide in America, and I'll ask you this, guys, as we start talking about this topic, please don't talk about, there's a lot of people that will say the words Civil War, and I really would appreciate it if we could not go there.
Right.
Because, number one, YouTube's going to be like, done. They'll remove the video. But secondly, I don't think we need to go there intellectually, and you'll see why.
Right.
You'll see why. So here's the thing. The divide that's happening in America, whether you look at, black people, white people, there are people, politicians, fearmongers, race baiters, that want to start problems on either side against each other because they can stand to gain from it. And they want that separation. They want there to be enmity. And okay, I'm gonna start out by saying, first of all, that's bull.
Oh.
Horse pucky. Bologna sausage. Doesn't need to be. The war on women.
How do you even approach that? I mean, it's, there's women who are feminists who want rights for all women, which
nothing wrong with that.
We have that. We can vote. We can drive. We can have jobs. That wasn't that way 100 years ago or more.
But there are people that seek to make a divide and then exploit it for their own gain. Mm-hmm. They're not actually really interested in women or men.
No.
They just want to exploit that field.
They want to divide the families.
Well, there's another thing.
They're trying to take children away from moms and dads, husbands away from wives, and vice versa.
And we homeschool.
Yes.
But we have not always.
No.
We've had children in the public school and then out. We actually have kids, one kid in public school right now and some in homeschool. Mm-hmm. We try to do the very best we can with deciding where the very best spot is for that kid.
Right.
However, we have seen the bologna sausage that happens when the education system tries to be the parent and say, don't listen to your regular parents. They're old-fashioned. They don't know what they're talking about. This is what you should really believe.
Well, okay. Well, can I tell them a story about David when he first went to public school?
Keep it clean, because this.
Of course I will.
Oh yeah.
I won't. I'm not going to say anything inappropriate. So our oldest son, David, who he just turned 21. We homeschooled him from the time he was in kindergarten, and then when we moved to Cincinnati, we were told the schools here are fantastic, because the schools where we were at...
And the ratings were great.
Right. Where we were in Florida were not that great. That was one of the reasons why we homeschooled. So when we moved to Cincinnati, we put him in this, what we thought was a fantastic school. His first year in public school as a 5th grader, okay, his social studies teacher decided to make it make this classroom her platform for Obama and for
which, whether you're for Obama or against Obama, that's
matter.
not the point.
Not
the point is it's not for that spot.
It's not for that spot or for that age group. And so she was also talking about stem cell research.
partial birth abortions.
And how she was for that.
And if you were against partial birth abortions, you were a moron. That's what, how old was he?
He was in 5th grade. He was 12?
Okay.
No, he was 10.
10.
Yeah.
And so this kid comes home and he's like, what's a partial birth abortion?
Yeah.
He doesn't know how babies are made at this point.
Mm-mm.
So this woman took that away from us.
Right.
Because we had to do the whole explanation of how it all works and then say, well, what's an abortion, Dad?
Yeah.
Well, and then you have to explain that.
Right.
Well, then what's a partial birth abortion? And
Yeah.
the kid's getting paler and paler.
Right.
You know, he's like feeling sick.
Right.
And so don't get me started on that. So we had to explain that, and she took away a chunk of my child's innocence.
Yep.
To make a political platform.
Right. In a 5th grade class. Come on.
Yeah.
This is adult. This is college.
It's brainwashing as well.
Yes, that was one of the many bad experiences we've had with public school. Hence why we.
Well, sometimes we and actually Claire's in public school right now.
She's only
Both.
in public school for math and for band.
And actually, if you're a homeschooler and you want your kids to be involved in sports or band, check your laws. But
Yes.
where most states have it to where you can dual enroll, where you still give them all the credit that you want academically, but then they can take, if they want to be in choir, they want to be whatever.
Right.
You're paying taxes.
Exactly.
You're paying taxes.
Most states allow a homeschool student to take 2 classes in their public school district. And so, you are allowed to participate in extracurricular activities, but please check your homeschool laws, because that's not the case for every state.
Okay. Refocusing.
Yes.
So the divisions. Colleges. Oh my gosh. What happens to so many kids when they leave high school and go into college is nothing short of brainwashing. All you have to do, watch some of the videos I mentioned about Louder with Crowder. His name's Steven Crowder, and he goes, well, he's a very outspoken conservative. He's a little rough around the edges, might not be for the most conservative of Christians because they get, guyish. They get guyish. Yeah. However, some of the videos he's been doing recently is he'll go onto college campuses and say, I am pro-Second Amendment, change my mind. And you would not believe the amount of hate and just vile vitriol that comes at him in crowds. And, I'm pro-life, change my mind. Anything that would be deemed conservative, they just go nuts. Yeah. And it's being fostered by those professors. They're taking advantage of the newness of the whole experience of college, and they are using it to preach their own gospel. And now here we go. Before we, like I said, I don't like to talk about a topic unless we can actually get to some degree of thinking about it effectively, right? Morality in churches. Okay. If you're paying attention and you are in church or you know of people in churches, the rapid decline of what was normally acceptable and perfectly truth in the Bible 10 years ago is getting flipped on this, just getting flipped. And having worked in the church for a long time, I understand how it works. What happens is in the collegiate level, you get a bunch of liberal people who consider themselves Christians, but they have a pet sin. And they try to kind of massage the texts and massage the teaching. And then pastors go out into the world and then they kind of convey what they were taught. And then more and more and more. And then all of a sudden you're looking at changes in the actual, the texts of interpretations of the scripture. And then it just goes on and on and on. And now all of a sudden you've got churches that are doing things that would have been considered heresy 20 years ago. So, that said, The divide is real. There are people that benefit from this. There are people that benefit from separating you from me from them, you from them. I mean, for crying out loud. People are getting beat up on the street for wearing a MAGA hat. I understand that there are people that like Trump and people that hate Trump, but you don't beat somebody up for wearing a political statement. No. That is asinine. Mm-hmm. I don't care if it was the person that you thought was the most horrible thing ever. They beat kids up over this stuff.
It's crazy.
I saw a 40-year-old man beating a teenager up. It's insane. And there are people that feed this. They feed it, and they want there to be a tearing point. So,
you've struck a chord again, because these comments have just lit up. It's not these folks are on fire for this. They are hot.
RIG Outdoors, I know he's a pastor.
Yeah.
Being in full-time ministry and understanding what you were saying, I deal with it every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a homestead hippie. She is the mom of 7 black children, and they walk down the street, and conservatives are nasty to her. And that is not okay.
That's disgusting.
That is disgusting to me. I am sorry that is happening to you.
It wouldn't happen in my house.
No, heck no, it wouldn't.
And you can come here anytime you want.
Exactly. I mean, that is, you know, I have explained to our kids, you know, there are different colored eggs. Okay, you've got green ones and pink ones and brown ones and white ones. You crack those eggs and they are the exact same on the inside. That is how humans are.
Your level of melatonin count does not describe who you are.
Right. You are the same on the inside as everyone else, no matter what the color of your skin is. I'm sorry. That
bothers me.
It hurts me in my core.
Yeah. So.
And she's adopted these children. I am so excited to hear that. I have a cousin. They've adopted 5 little black kids. And I think that is...
It wouldn't matter what color they are.
No, it doesn't. But the fact that they are adopting children, that's huge.
Well, and there is a stigma with white families adopting black kids, and the other way around too.
Right.
They're like, why would you do that? Well, that's racism.
Those children need a home. Who cares what color they are? They need a home.
So, trying to get back to the top. Why don't you grab a drink of water?
There are very few things that I get passionate about, and that's one of them. Homeschooling's another one.
Hot button.
Oh, man.
So, here's the thing. Not only do these divides exist, most of them exist because somebody is benefiting from it. That's the thing that we have to keep in the forefront of our minds. You know, I read so many comments today of people in the video that we made earlier, and a lot of people were like, you don't understand, the people that I deal with, it's a non-starter. They will not hear my position. I don't want to hear theirs. And trust me, guys, I get it. It is not fun dealing with somebody who is openly hostile to you. But if we don't do it, if we don't come in a spirit of love and a spirit that Christ gave us, how are we going to do anything to change a situation? Or are we just going to go, oh, well, I shouldn't try. And the way that okay, here's the thing. My next question is, can we come back? And I want you guys to answer that. Is there a way, as a society, that we can come back without a major rift? I'm talking like people who are not normally violent getting violent, because I would hate that and I condemn that. But I'm just wondering what your thoughts are. Do you think that it would have to come to blows? Or do you think there's a way to patch it all back together? So, question.
Well, Captain Jesse's asking about the bus, so I figured we would get to that in just a few minutes.
We probably won't tonight.
Oh, well, we are going to do an update this week on the bus, so Please bear with us.
Okay, so the question is, as a society, can it come back? And so you guys chime in and let people see what you're saying. However, here's what I think. I think that, and you guys, if you're not a believer, guess what? We're a family of believers.
Yeah.
So, shocker, here comes some believer solution to this problem.
Right.
I don't think that anything will bring the United States of America back to a place of unity outside of an active move of God.
Right.
And I mean, we repent of our sins. We stop murdering babies. We stop doing all the things that are detestable to God. That's me personally. I understand that there are other people with other opinions, but I don't think that there's a way back without real, actual revival. I don't. That said, we are still believers who are living in this situation. How do we deal with it? You know, I believe that God can do absolutely anything. However, if the country does not repent, if the country does not return to God, there is one outcome and one only, and we can read about it in the book.
Yeah. Right.
So, with that said, what are we to do as believers who are in this poop storm? What are we to do? We cannot conform to it. We cannot condone it.
Okay. You had to leave Sunday school early. Remember what I talked to you about in the car on the way home?
Remind me.
I got called out to answer a question.
We talked a lot.
Sunday school.
Oh.
We've been going over Revelation for the last
in Sunday school.
In Sunday school for the last 2 years. Well, this is the second year.
It's been an excruciating long time.
But it's been really
It has
amazing.
been great. It has honestly been great.
Right.
Extremely thorough.
Right. I wish I had my Bible up here. Okay. Give me 2 seconds. So.
We'll just describe it.
Well, it's, talking about who will be thrown into the pit of fire.
In Revelation 20?
Yeah, I think it was 20. I thought it was 21. Maybe
we're talking
20.
end time stuff, guys.
Yeah.
Well, that's...
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You keep doing your thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I do not think that we can get back without an actual real life move of God. And so, where do we... And let me back it up, because we're at 7:47 and we only go until 8 o'clock. I had a conversation with my pastor about should preppers be Christians? And he had recently given a message that kind of smacked of you shouldn't really store away too much stuff. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to press it out with him further. So I said, well, now what was the deal with that? Because I said, I am a Christian who is a prepper. We store up for emergencies. We make sure that if there's chaos in the world, I, as a man and as a father, can protect my family. And I can protect my neighbors. I can help feed my neighbors if need be. I can help protect my neighbors if I need be. And I said, I don't understand. Would you explain it? And what we came to the agreement of was that he said, when people make their preps into the thing that saves them, they're making that an idol.
Right.
That becomes idolatry.
Right.
And I said, I agree. However, if your perspective is, this is just stuff, and man, oh man, I hope I never have to use it, but if I do, I'm going to make sure I can help out everybody around here, then it becomes a tool. Right. And so I think like Joseph in the Bible, I mean, if you think about it, think about all the garbage Joseph went through in the Bible. His brothers tried to kill him. Then when they decided not to kill him, they threw him in a pit, lied to dad, said that he got eaten by a wild animal,
right.
Sold him into slavery, worked his way up through the house as a slave. The wife tries to sleep with the guy, lies about it, Master throws him into jail, into a pit. And then he's brought before Pharaoh, ends up telling dreams, and Pharaoh puts him to the top. And basically, by his being there, he became an effective manager of the resources of Egypt and saved Egypt, not only Egypt, but Israel from starvation. Yeah. And then, of course, there's the cheerful reunion of the dad and brothers and all that.
Please reiterate your question from earlier.
What question?
Which made me think of this verse.
I don't remember the question.
Okay, never mind then.
Sorry, baby.
Because I have a terrible memory.
That's why I don't remember.
So, well, the verse that I was thinking of, which I can't remember what question he asked.
Well, will it make sense now?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know, but I wanted, if those who do remember.
Just tell them the verse.
That's what I was going to do. The verse is Revelation 21, verse 8. But as for the cowardly, the faithless, the detestable, as for murderers, sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death.
So that scripture came up.
Right.
And Christa was nodding her head when the part of cowards came up. And the question was, why should cowards be considered in this list of people that are being thrown in?
Right.
And it was a matter of being in cahoots.
Right.
If you're a coward,
you're not standing up for what's right. And
that's what's happening for us.
Exactly. So all of this stuff, the division on our society, we need to stand up and say, no. This is not okay. So,
or we're not going to get back.
Right.
We have to stand up. And let me tell you what. I know there's a lot of people that watch our channel that are not believers. And I can't hide my faith. I would be lying.
Right.
And I don't want people to walk away and go, oh, he's just a Bible-thumping Jesus freak that's always trying to proselytize people. We don't do that. However, once in a while when we get a burr in our bonnet, we say, hey, this is what's going on, and I think you really need to pay attention. Because our hope is that you'd honestly maybe just listen. Maybe we're not just freaks that believe in what you would call a myth. I don't believe that at all. So when we get passionate about something, it's because we really think that there's a big time problem. So here's where we're at. I'm looking at the comments section here, guys, and I got to tell you what, I'm encouraged. Because there's a heck of a lot more great comments than there are comments that we go, So what I want to do in the last few minutes that we have, guys, is let's talk about what's next. Because we see that there's a problem. We see that there's a rift. The real question is, can we come back? Well, that's really up to us. How can we mend these rifts? Take colleges, for example. I'm not in college, but obviously there are a lot of college professors who have tenure, who aren't going anywhere, and they're still going to be poisoning these kids' minds.
Right.
Somebody needs to come up with a creative way to combat that. Maybe it's you. Maybe you have been specifically gifted to help that problem.
Sure.
It's not me. Or at least I haven't been told so. I'll listen.
Right.
I'll listen.
Just don't send me to Wisconsin. Oh, wait.
Lord, we'll go anywhere. Just don't send us to Wisconsin.
Right. And, it's funny.
That was actually her.
I said, I just don't want to go north. I just don't want to go any farther north.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is what happens when you tell God no.
You told God, please don't.
I said, please don't.
So, as we only have a little bit of time left, guys, here's the thing. The way back, in my opinion, is through your faith, through Jesus Christ. That's it.
Yeah.
Then we've got to share it. Once you've embraced it, then you got to share it. You don't have to be a whack job out there scaring people who are not believers. You know, you don't need to throw the Bible at them and say, believe, whack, whack, whack.
Right.
That's not going to get you anywhere. But when you really have a relationship with Jesus, that changes everything. Everything's different. Everything's changed. You know? And so we have to live in this, right? Imagine yourself as a believer. Well, let's change that. Let's say that you're one of the Israelites in Joseph's time, and you're going through hardship. There's starvation. People are dropping dead. Cows are not producing. And the only way that you're going to get through is if you had either A, prepared, or B, you go into slavery in order to save your own skin. That is a reality, people. You can either take steps now, learn trades, start storing away things. Nobody's talking about being crazy. I say this all the time. You got life insurance. You got health insurance. You got car insurance. You got renter's insurance. We got insurance for everything. And that's completely normal to everybody in the world. And that's just fine and great because you know what? You never know what could happen. But when you start putting food in the basement, why does everybody think you're a nut? Wait a minute. It's the dumbest thing ever.
Most families only have 3 or 4 days of food in their house.
Yeah.
That just seems...
Yeah.
I can't say the word I was thinking.
Yeah.
It just seems silly.
Yeah.
Okay? That you're not taking care of your family. I mean, for crying out loud, we were stuck here 2 weeks ago. We were stuck here for over 48 hours.
No
we
big deal.
couldn't go anywhere.
No big deal.
And it was no big deal.
Nothing changed.
No, nothing changed. You know, we still had power, and you know, and if we didn't, we have our solar backup that we can use for the essentials: water, heat. Those are the essentials.
Got it.
You know, we got it. We got wood for fire, and we have our solar thing that we can use.
We got propane for heat as well.
We have propane for heat as well,
and electric for heat.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, it's propane, actually.
We got 3 forms of heat.
Well, our furnace inside the house
Yeah.
won't run if there's no power. But it's
we got a solar
fueled
backup
by
too.
propane. So, you know, it's just...
Okay.
And then you talk... I'm sorry. Then you talk to friends of yours.
Yeah.
And, you know, well, and they don't, you know... Do you have a few days extra, you know, of food? There's a storm coming. Do you have stuff in your house? No.
If you're gonna
Why not?
okay, so here's the thing: we can't control what other people are gonna do.
No.
We only control what we're gonna do.
Right.
So I've got it made up in my mind that the people that live there and there and there and there, if they're in need, I am not gonna let them go hungry if I can at all help it. No way. And while we have a few extra bucks, I'll buy an extra bag of rice.
Exactly.
You know what? Rice is cheap. Right. Not exactly fun if you got to eat it for a month, but you know what? It'll keep you alive.
You know, okay, Jean is asking a very an awesome question. She says, how do I do prepping in a small apartment? Okay, here's what we did. We had a small house with 7 kids. We used our bed. Underneath our bed, we put 5-gallon buckets of beans and rice.
How many were there?
There were 36.
36 5-gallon buckets.
They go underneath a king-size bed. 36 5-gallon buckets. It made a perfect platform.
That's over a ton of food.
Yeah. There's lots of places where you can store food. And if it's just a few of you, like I said, we had 7 kids living in our house at the time. So... The boys had a wall of buckets in their room. Remember that?
I do.
You know, we put stuff.
You can put them everywhere.
You can put them anywhere. So.
We need to pause.
We do. It's time.
Here's the thing, guys. We've got a minute left, and I can tell you this: we're going to talk about this topic next week, because now we're going to get practical.
Yeah.
We've analyzed the problem. We recognize there's a problem.
Now let's fix it.
Now let's start working on the problem.
Right.
Work on the solution.
Yep.
So, I'm going to say a quick prayer, say goodnight, and we hope you have a blessed week. So, here we go. Father God, we come before you, and Lord, I just am so excited about the way that you are moving in people today. I see through the comments and I see through what people are chatting about that obviously you're lighting a fire. And I would ask that you would fan that flame so that people would understand the reality that we are in and that they would submit to you, that they would accept and receive you. And when they do that, Lord, then we start to get ready. Jesus, we love you. Thank you for every one of these folks here. Mm-hmm. Amen.
Amen.
All righty, guys. Going on over to
the Self-Reliant Roadshow.
I didn't remember which one he was going live from. Self-Reliant Roadshow.
Self-Reliant Roadshow.
You guys have a blessed evening. Thank you so much for hanging out. Gets me excited, man. I'm jacked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Have a great night.
Good night.
It's